Tank Road Station, the mystery of a forgotten train station and how its disappearance contributed to a small enclave that has become frozen in time. Bound by Tank Road, Clemenceau Avenue, and River Valley, is a piece of land that is easily overlooked today. Anyone visiting this patch of green will wonder how such a prime piece of land has been left out of the urban planning schemes which have guided the development of central Singapore even before its independence in 1965. Just a stone's throw away from the Orchard Road, Clarke Quay and Robertson Quay area, the triangular plot of land measuring about 7,500 square meters serves as a tree bank for the National Parks Board. During religious festivals like Thaipusam, devotees sometimes spill out of the Indian temple on Tank Road onto the patch of green. This piece of land was designated a reserve site in 2003 by the URA and remains desolate. Singapore's first railway was not part of the Federated Malay States Railway. Singapore's connection to the Malayan Railway was only inaugurated in 1918. More than 10 years earlier, a separate railway line starting at Tank Road was already running from the city to Kranji, where passengers would disembark to board the ferry that crossed the Straits of Johor. Costing $2 million in 1903, the Singapore-Kranji line ran through the city, crossing Orchard Road via a bridge near Cluny Road to stop at train stations at Newton Circus, Cluny Road, Holland Road, Bukit Timah, Bukit Panjang, Mandai, and finally Woodlands Jetty in Kranji. One of the earliest communities to arrive at Tank Road were the Chettiars, who bathed in a small pond at the foot of Fort Canning, and then made offerings nearby as early as mid-1850s. A temple was consecrated in 1859. The temple has gone through several stages of redevelopment in the 1930s, 1950s, and 1980s. With the opening of the Tank Road station in 1903, Tank Road itself began to attract more attention. Shortly after the station began operations, the Church of the Sacred Heart was built in 1906 by the Society of St. Vincent de Paul and was completed in 1910. On the 28th of June 1924, the Johor-Singapore Causeway was officially opened. It incorporated railway, road, as well as a water pipeline. The first goods trains crossed the causeway on 17 September 1923, followed a month later by a passenger train. An additional line had also been extended from Tank Road Station to Pasir Panjang. By the end of that decade, it became clear that a goods train running through the city was undesirable. By around 1931, detailed plans of the Tanjong Pagar area show that the railway lines linking Pasir Panjang to Tank Road Station had been removed, heralding the end of the city train service. For several decades after Tank Road Station was decommissioned, life on Tank Road carried on as much as usual. It attracted prominent members of the Teochew community, notably the Teochew clan, better known as Nian Kongsi. In 1940, Nian Kongsi had already set up the Nian Girls' School nearby on River Valley Road. With education as one of its core missions, it also took on the management of Tuan Mong High School on Tank Road. Not long after, Nian Kongsi redeveloped the school in 1963 to make way for its flagship Teochew building. But in 1994, Tuan Mong High School was closed due to falling enrollment. Much of Tank Road is designated for worship purposes. Even until as late as the 1980s, the triangular piece of land was simply designated a public open space. Even until as late as the 1980s, the triangular strip of land was simply designated a public open space. With the completion of the Central Expressway in 1983 and the widening of Clemenceau Avenue, Tank Road was reduced to a side lane, with traffic running only one way. Traffic was limited to those who had dealings with the temple, church, or clan. With interest in religion and local culture falling, very few people visited Tank Road. Redevelopment of the vacant land also had not proved attractive to landowners. While a sign chained to the gate of the disused basketball courts revealed that the land is owned by the Nian Gongxi and is designated for residential and commercial use with a plot ratio of 2.4, it seems even big property owners are not keen to inject new life to Tank Road. Which is a pity. Tank Road and the station that once stood there not only has historic significance, but also still retains some of the charm that defined it in the early 20th century. Should it remain frozen in time, or should the reserve site be activated? Only time will tell.